I'd like to welcome everybody to this regular scheduled Oscoda Township Board meeting for December 11th. If we could begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Cummings? Here. Ms. McGuire?
here.
Mr. Spencer?
Here.
Mr. Taser?
Present.
Mr. Sutton here. Mr. Wusterbarg? Mr. Palmer?
Here. Next is the agenda additions. I have two items I would like to add. Ms. McGuire was good enough to get one of the applications today that we've been waiting on. That would be to add under other, number 5 and 6, the LBFA appointment of Kathy Morgan Jones, and number 6, the renewal of Christine Rogel, reappointment for her appointment on the LDFL board through 12/31/25.
I also have an agenda addition under the subcommittee. I'd like to add the RAB meeting.
Under which, under other?
Subcommittee meeting?
Oh,
Subcommittees?
subcommittee?
The RAB meeting.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Bill, we needed to correct the public hearing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, just a couple of just typo errors on the agenda. It calls for a public hearing of the 2023 budget. That should be the 2024 budget.
Okay.
And in the payment of bills under the prepaid, the first one is $102,190. On the agenda, it says 93 cents. It should be 39 cents.
Okay.
The information in the packet on the payment of bills is correct. It has it at 39 cents. And I believe those were the only corrections that I saw.
Bill, is your microphone working? I can only hear you, but I'm very whisper down here. I don't imagine anyone else is able to hear you either.
See if I can.
Did we do a mic test earlier or no?
I thought.
Nope.
I'm hearing nothing, actually. There's no tab coming through.
You want to use this one?
This was working. That's working. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Is that better?
Much better, thank you.
Okay. I could hear myself, so like
Wait, I was missing your dulcet tones, Bill.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda with the additions?
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings? Yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes. Motion passed. Next is we're having a public hearing on our 2024 budget. I need a motion to go into the public hearing.
I'll move that we go into the public hearing for the 2024 budget.
Support, Spencer.
Okay. At this time, anyone in the public that would like to comment on the,
Do a roll call real quick.
oh, yeah, roll call, sorry. Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings? Yes. Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. We are now in public hearing. So if anyone has a comment to make or question about the proposed budget, now would be the time. Are there any questions from the board or comments?
I have a couple.
Okay.
I know that one of the last meetings we had, I know I had mentioned about having the contributions from the water and sewer department be a little higher, and it looks like it's the same amount still.
I did not want to raise it without having the proper information, which I don't have yet. So
Okay.
I was hoping that maybe next year's budget, we could have that set higher if that's what we're going to do.
So,
I just wanted the information on why it was exactly that much, so, and I haven't found anything yet, so.
so just don't raise it this year and do it for next year?
Correct. That way I have more
For
time.
25th. Okay,
We'll
Yes.
keep that in mind, so
Okay.
for next year's.
yeah. Okay, let's see. I had one other one, I believe. Under fund number 204, which is the Forest Reserve, there's a appropriations for auditing fees for $10,000.
1 second, let me get there.
I think it's on page 13.
That's actually Improvement County Roads.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So are we planning some type of,
It's just always been placed there, just in case.
okay, I just didn't see it in the activity from 2022. Maybe we just didn't spend the money.
No, we never do, but it's placed there,
Just stick it there.
just in
and-
case.
Okay, all right. Thank you. And let's see. I got, that's the transfers. The only other one was for in the estimated revenue for the VA clinic. So it's just got like 1 month there for 2024. Are we anticipating being finished with that?
I would certainly hope so. I have not heard anything in the last couple of months. It's completely out of the township's hands. All our paperwork has been completed. So
Okay.
the last part's between the Lees and the VA.
Okay. All right, so if we could have actually more money then possibly.
Yes, I didn't want to overestimate that.
Estimate.
It could be done anytime now, and it should be. So,
Okay. All right, that's the only questions I had.
Okay, anyone else? Any questions, comments on the budget? Well, with that, if there's no comments from the public, I would ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support?
A motion by Mr. McGuire, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes?
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes. We are now out of public hearing. Next up is public comment. If we ask that you fill out a card, and you will have 4 minutes to speak. Do we have a card?
no, we do not.
No cards. Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have the meeting minutes from November 27th. It's just a couple of changes to Mr. Sutton. I believe he sent out an updated version of the minutes to everyone. Did anybody have any questions on those?
In those updated minutes, Mr. Sutton, was one of them the EIC member dismissal vote, correction?
For the minutes?
Yeah, that's the topic.
presented update on the two motions.
It's under
And then a
other.
correction to Mr. Palmer's reporting on the OWAA.
Nope, under other. It's part of the EIC member dismissal.
So what are you looking for, in the actual top part or the name in the motion?
No, neither. Actually, it says that it was unanimously adopted or
Oh,
accepted,
gotcha.
and it
Yep.
is not. I was a no. I also have a second point there, and it was just further up. I think it's the first item under other, and it was in reference to the Jeff Lindemann reimbursement. There was a motion by Ms. McGuire that I supported. The motion indicates that it's in the number of receipts that were turned in, but the actual motion had to do with, for the original payment of the submitted invoices, submitted receipts.
Yeah, payment and in the amount of the receipts.
Correct, exactly, thank you.
And we have any others?
Anything else on the minutes from the 27th meeting? Next is the payment of bills. The prepaid for December 12th in the amount of $102,190.39, and the check run for December 5th of $93,517.91. Any questions on any of those? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
With
Corrections presented.
Oh, with the changes stipulated.
With correction.
Thank you.
Support, Spencer.
We have a motion by Mr. Cummings, support by Mr. Spencer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next, we have our subcommittee reports from our township engineer, Mr. Freeman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Engineering report for December. Phase 3 and Phase 5 water main projects have been completed in the field. We've submitted the final pay request to Eagle for a C2R2 reimbursement. And I've also requested from Leanne Hardesty if there's anything else we have to do officially to close out these being the first two phases that we've completed under that grant. To give you kind of a summary, Phase 3, we had the potential, we installed 4 taps into the water main. 69 of those were actually connected to residential houses. Phase 5, we had 66 taps in the water main and 61 connections to houses. So very good turnaround on the services there. Phase 6, obviously we're waiting for the contractor to start up in the spring. Give you kind of an update on that. We have the possibility of 151 taps. So far we have 78 positive responses requesting services once we start that. We have 7 that have declined it, and we're still outstanding on 66. Residents have not officially responded yet. So we're more than 50% on Phase 6, so looking very good there. Phase 7, the township-wide service line project, we're trying to identify all of the streets that are included in that, and then I'm going to work with Angela in the utility billing department to get the addresses that have water available to them but are not connected, so that we can get a comprehensive list so that we can put that out with the bid. I'm hoping to get that advertised in January with a bid award in February, so that when the weather breaks in the spring, that township-wide service connection project can start up.
And so you said, Rick, I'm sorry to interrupt, but part of the requirements of the C2R2 grant through Eagle is that we have a minimum of 50% participation, right?
Well, we were told that verbally, that for each phase we had to have 50%, but we've actually reviewed the grant document and it's 50% for all the phases. So far we've covered both angles of that. So.
We're inside both.
Correct.
Either way they want to look at it.
Correct.
We're good. Did you get any feedback of why people weren't hooking up?
No. Some of them were just that they didn't want to deal with the ready to serve charge, was probably the main reason for it. And we swayed a few of those once, the project started, and then when we finished up, but a few of them were still holding out, so.
And were they explained that how much time they have to change their mind? I mean,
Yes, they were totally informed on the time frame, and then also the fact that if their well were to fail, Iosco Public Health would not be issuing any significant repair permits or new permits for wells, but they are willing so far to take that risk.
And how much time do we have for people to hook up to it to be covered under the grant?
What we'll do is we'll roll them into phase 7 as far as potential hookups for phase 7, just like we're going to go back to Forest and Van Etten and do those two. There's a few there. So they have until the end of the grant, which is the end of 2025, 2026. So.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
curious about that.
So like I said, we've got a comprehensive list. I've got to actually share that list with Eagle because we have to show that the well abandonments were completed. And then we're going to continue to, like I said, let them know that that grant is open and they are eligible if they change their mind. But as soon as that grant closes out, unfortunately, we won't be able to go back.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Kind of summarize where we're at with the grant. The grant was right around $9.6 million. And with this last reimbursement request, we're just under $6 million as far as reimbursement. So we got about $3.5 million left. Phase 6 with the engineering costs and stuff associated will be probably about 1.8 million. And then we'll have potentially 140 services under phase 7. So we're looking like we're going to stay underneath the grant amount, but we're not going to give that money up very easily.
No. Okay.
Sanitary sewer system improvements, the 2021 CWSRF. The odor control equipment has been delivered. Contractor is finishing up the conduit and the wiring for that, and we'll be installing that next week, is what the schedule is right now. And we're coordinating that activities with Rowe Professional Services and also F&V as far as access to pump station 25. 2024 CWSRF, DWRF, working with Eagle on the final, the next round, the next pieces of the application there. Those will be, as the proposals were approved at your last meeting, Rowe has started to work on the surveying and the design of that. And with the closing, as I think I've said before, within the fourth quarter, probably in the June, July timeframe, once we get bids out on the street. A component of that is as I mentioned, there was some questions about the foam fractionation and foam digestion of that. Dave Richmond and myself went to a demonstration at a facility, a large industrial facility in Grand Rapids that is currently using it as a pilot program. And it's a two-step process. First step is they seem, for those of you that have seen the foam on the lakes and all of that, basically the water that'll come out of the headworks at the lagoon site will be injected with air, and that's the foam fractionation part of it. And basically what that does is that creates the foam that you see out on the lakes naturally. It creates the foam coming out of our waste stream. That foam does contain 99.9% of the PFAS contaminants that are in the waste stream. Then that foam is peeled off the top, and it's a tall cylinder, and the foam collects at the top. They pull that off, and then using normal water and wastewater chemicals, caustic chemicals, anything that they use normally for water treatment, they inject that into the foam at a high pH, at a higher pH than what you would do normally with water or wastewater. And with that high pH and the chemicals that they inject into it, they basically break down that molecule down to a safe level. And they can adjust that, we can adjust that, depending on what changes Eagle makes to the limits that they have in it. And basically then that just gets rolled right back into the waste stream with no PFAS essentially at any detectable levels. They've had several pilot programs that have been successful. This one is one of the largest ones they're doing right now. Volume-wise, it's a little smaller than what the headwaters that we will put through it. They just got selected by the DOD to possibly do a pilot program at one of the bases. And when we were over there actually talking, they're actually going to see about possibly working with the DOD and maybe doing it here in Oscoda, which would be different than the GAC treatment that the Air Force is using right now. Through the process, they will be coming out here shortly. We'll be sending them water samples. They will be identifying the concentration in our waste stream, and then more likely than not, they might actually bring a pilot project out here and test it to see what kind of results we can get and dial it in before the equipment is actually ordered and installed. So we're going to be doing that in 2024. And this equipment, as part of the project, will be installed and operational in 2025.
Okay.
Dave Richmond, if you like Dave Richmond and Morge Brujink, who has teamed with them, they can come in January at maybe a meeting, or in February, and do a little bit more technical presentation if you'd like, more than what I just gave you, but we can set that up if we want to do that at that time. So, but very positive, very low cost compared to other treatment. It strictly just attacks the forever chemicals. Doesn't have the other things in the waste stream don't affect it like carbon filtering does. And the other thing is that the equipment will be the townships. It won't be a leased operation. Obviously, they'll warranty it, and the fact that it's very similar in chemicals and operation as water and wastewater treatment as is, the operations and maintenance crews shouldn't have any problem running this equipment. So.
This is only for the wastewater, though. This isn't going to help with any of the water.
No, this is just the wastewater. Yeah, that's correct. So. Hull Island, I'll be attending the trust fund board meeting on Wednesday, where we'll find out the results of our application. So hopefully we've got positive results there. Huron Pines did close on the property as of last Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah.
So that is, and they did acquire it for less than the asking price.
Oh, wow.
I haven't asked them what they acquired it for yet, but, so.
That's great news.
So So step one of that process is complete.
Where's that board, that trust fund board meeting happening?
It is at, hold on here. It's on MSU's campus, I believe, in the
East Lansing?
Hannah Community Center at 9 a.m. Starts at 9 a.m. on Wednesday.
That'd be East Lansing? East Lansing?
East Lansing,
Okay,
yep.
got it.
So. Okay. The trail project, again, is complete. We're finalizing the paperwork with MDOT, the Alpena TSC. We got verbal that everything was okay. I'm waiting for the actual paperwork to come back, but I've not heard from the gentleman since deer hunting. So he is around. He is responding. So he just hasn't got the paperwork back, and that should close out that project. And I'm in the final stages of making another reimbursement request to the trust fund. Based on the figures, we've got about, I think it's about 200, between that one and the rest of the foundation grant that we had gotten, we are probably going to get back about $260,000 more as far as reimbursement once we get through all of that, so.
Yay, we'll take it.
Mission Street lining project is complete. Final documentation is being delivered, and we're getting information to the Air Force. So that project was a success, and we'll be monitoring that as far as any backups or whatever. Hopefully none occur now that we got the lining of that area complete, so. Continuing to coordinate with F&V operations on the IPP permitting process and getting that moving forward. Continuing to, like I said, any PFAS and PFAS contamination investigations that come up, we're digging into those. And continuing to investigate water loss. And we found another leak that based on out on Cedar Lake or off from Cedar Lake, based on what we thought 120,000 gallons was potentially lost through that leak. So,
In what time frame?
I can't remember what Cass said. Over a month period, about a month and a half period.
So that's been fixed?
That has been fixed, yes.
So that wouldn't account, according to our water loss report, in the month of November, we only had a 5% water loss.
Wow, that's great.
Making improvements.
So,
That's huge.
That's huge.
so
That's huge.
if the water leaks that we found and corrected, it's hard for me to believe that's the case, but.
Well, and it could change next month. I mean, it's just, that's how fickle the system is. But what we're finding is, finding a situation like that, then we're looking at other situations in the township that might be generating that type of same situation. We pulled out some service leads, existing service leads, a month or a month and a half ago, just doing some normal routine maintenance and stuff. And these service leads were cracked and pitted from the curb stop all the way up to the residential and such. And again, this is a resident or a business, I think this is a resident, where the meter's obviously in their house. They don't see any record of, they're not paying for that water loss.
Right.
But in finding that, it would have been a significant amount. There's really no way to tell how much was lost because we don't know how long that water service was in that kind of condition. But that just is another indication that it's an ongoing process. We're identifying these types of situations and we're looking in certain areas that might have the same situation going on and trying to identify and trying to correct those as we find them. Other activities, pretty much everything's going on. If you haven't heard, we did receive the MDOT or the MDNR passport grant for Ratliff Park. So $150,000 grant has been awarded to the township. And we'll be working with probably WTA to get a professional services agreement in there for the upgrades to Warrior Pavilion and the restroom facility, which this grant covered. And we've got to get a couple of other housekeeping items out of the way in the month of January and get that project going for hopefully going out for bids sometime in the spring or early summer. So, and that's in conjunction with Bill Hamlin and his staff is out putting the piers in for the fishing pier and the kayak launch. And then we'll hopefully get those two projects wrapped up in 2024. So. Holiday Inn, the water main is completely installed and operational on River Road from Lake down to Oscoda Beach Park. The service lines are at the right-of-way line with the Holiday Inn. I've been working with them. They've paid up all of their tap fees and all that stuff. We're just waiting on their final drawing of the vault that they're going to be used for their meter, or for their 4-inch domestic and the 6-inch fire suppression. As soon as they get that to me, we'll review and approve that, and then they can get that ordered. And the last I heard, they're advertising for occupancy in April.
Yep.
Is what I thought I heard.
It's around April 15th from what I see on the website.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, that's my report.
Thank you. Anyone have any other questions for Mr. Freeman? Next is Mr. Cummings, the RAB report.
Yeah, thank you. Just an update. This is giving everybody lots of lead time, but the February 2024 Wordsmith RAB meeting date has been set, and it is for February 21st, 6 to 8 p.m., and it will once again be at the Methodist Church behind Township Hall. They will also be providing a virtual component, again, just for those who can't make it physically. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone have any questions, Mr. Cummings, about the RAB meeting? All right, next is the superintendent's report. First is the 2024 Charter Township Oscoda budget adoption.
All right, your packet contains the 2024 budget for the Township Board's approval.
Anyone have any questions on that, or do I have a motion? Any questions?
No.
No? Well, I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 budget as presented.
Support, Sutton.
A motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the police request on 4 different items.
Okay, your packet contains 3 purchase requests from the Chief of Police, Don Bolin. The first request is for the purchase of 4 additional vehicles in addition to the 2 vehicles approved for 2024 to allow for an assigned vehicle program. These cars can be purchased with ARPA funds, and the department is currently requesting a not to exceed $300,000. The second request is for the purchase of 13 tasers, which includes an upgrade to the Model Taser 10. There is an attached interest-free 5-year payment plan, or the board can consider an outright purchase. The third request is for an enclosed trailer for use and storage of firearms-related equipment. 3 quotes have been secured, and the trailer from Robson Trailer LLC has been selected at $9,900. All quotes and costs for these items are listed in your packet for your review. Chief Bolin will be present for discussion and questions regarding the purchases he is requesting.
And there's also the policy for the assignment.
Yes, I figured I would let them
Okay.
discuss first.
Sure. Chief Bolin?
Sure. Microphone's not working at the podium.
Okay, you can sit here.
Nope.
Okay, as you're aware, I am requesting some money for extra vehicles for the police department. With this, it'll include updating the equipment in the patrol cars and enhance public safety. Currently, the cars we have right now have radios in them that are approximately 15 years old, and they shut off during the shift on the officers, which is a big
Yeah.
officer safety issue, which isn't good. There are 2 patrol cars that are scheduled to be in service for this year that are in the capital improvement plan. I'm requesting 4 additional cars, 2 of them that will be fully marked, and then 2, basically they'd be civilian models, unmarked vehicles, 1 for myself and 1 for the detective. If there's money left over, the detective will need some equipment in his more so than what I will. With this, every officer should have a take-home patrol car, and in this, it'll reduce the replacing cars from every 3 to 4 years, probably to 6 to 7 years out. Reduce maintenance cost every year. Right now, we have patrol cars that are running 24/7, and unfortunately, with that, sometimes you go over your maintenance plan and everything, which isn't good for the patrol car. So basically, the benefits of an assigned vehicle would be longevity, they'd last longer. Equipment, every 6 to 7 years when the vehicles come up, we can replace the equipment in them, which is the radios, the cameras, and the MBTs if necessary. And the employee retention. That helps hire and keep people in the department. We don't want to lose what we have, but if it also helps us get people. And one of the main things is response time. And I can attest to this, while I was with the state police, we had a similar program, and when you're out on a call and you need extra patrol cars or extra people to come out, it is so nice to be able to call them at home and the response time is cut in less than half, especially when it's an emergency. And I'll use a good example was when we had the fire out there by the monument a couple years ago. I was a supervisor for the state at the time. I had a couple troopers that were already working. I called 2 more in as I was on my way out there, and then the fire started spreading. I was able to call more officers in to help start with the evacuation. And I know at the time, Oscoda, one officer was driving around in the code enforcement cars, starting with the evacuation, and another officer was called in, but ultimately was sent home because there weren't enough cars for him to go out there and respond. And I have heard in the past that officers have responded to calls in their private vehicles, which they shouldn't be doing. It also, on top of public safety, the vehicle condition stays much better because the officers takes care of their vehicle. They take pride in it, basically. But the unfortunate part of this is the upfront cost of purchasing the vehicles, which would be the $300,000 from the ARPA fund. And I did type of policy that you have seen. Got that. The policy covers everything. This is a proven policy. It's kind of a spin-off from the state police. I know this policy. It works. I have not seen any flaws with this during my time with the state.
So you're asking to spend $300,000 on a bunch of stuff here, which I'm not opposed to. Is this buying all of this stuff up front, is that going to realize any savings over the course of the next 5 years?
Yeah, because the vehicles will last longer. And it'll basically turn where the vehicles are being updated, one, depending on how many times people are called in on overtime shifts or call-ins for emergencies. The car, we might get to 2 cars a year, but right now it should be about 1 car a year for upgrade, which would be a tremendous cost factor, savings.
So it is that, implementing these programs is going to be an upfront cost, but it will save us money over time.
Yes.
And it provides the officers with the ability to leave directly from their house to go to a job instead of coming all the way to the department and then swapping out everything and then...
If there's a car available.
If there's a car available. Okay.
That's the big thing, yeah. And unfortunately, the 2024 pricing isn't in yet, so I don't have what the cost will actually be. I do know that the cars that are scheduled for this year, for 2024, because the cost increases over the years, there's not enough money in that budget to cover that, so part of this money will be covering the 2 cars that are already scheduled to be there.
And then you said that this would take us from working to replace 2 cars a year down to 1 car a year.
Yes.
And because they're going to last
And
longer.
there could be years where there's 2, I'm not
Right.
throwing that out, you know, it just depends how many miles are put on them and how many times they're called out.
You notated in your document there that some of the equipment that's at the police station is ridiculously old.
Yes.
Which equipment are you specifically referring to?
The radios in the car, for one. The in-car cameras are getting to about their service life. Usually 5 to 7 years is the lifespan of the equipment. And when we have radios that are in patrol cars that are shutting off and they don't know when they're going to come back on, that could cost your partner their life or not responding to a call for service because...
So this is the equipment that you're referring to isn't, that the lights aren't blinking as fast as they should. This is actually important. I mean, this is a radio.
Yes.
This is their lifeline back to
Yes.
dispatch to report what's going on and ask for help and all that stuff.
Yes.
Got it.
Or hear somebody asking for help.
Correct. There you go. Yep. Okay.
Chief, can you explain the use of ARPA funds? I really don't understand where the money comes from on that. I just don't, could you refresh my memory on this money? Are we get it, and is this are we talking about, this obviously isn't money that's generated from our own personal tax revenue, that's what I understand. So can we just understand what that is? Maybe a clarification for everybody, frankly?
I believe the ARPA fund that we were talking about is the COVID funding that we have. Extra money, if I'm correct.
Yes, received from the federal government.
It's money that we receive from the federal government.
Thank you.
It's not actually coming out of the general budget.
Right, thank you. And so we have these funds already in an account, or we apply for it? Or you're
Yes.
saying we do?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, that's good. And so, and there is $300,000 in that account now?
Yes, in total, we've spent $131,000 of the ARPA funds so far. We received $708,000,
Oh, wow.
so
When does it have to be spent by?
2025,
Oh,
But it has to be appropriated by 2024, I believe.
Right,
yes.
Yes.
got it.
so including this 300,000 on the side note, the rest of the ARPA funds are in the budget for 2024 to be spent?
Yes, we can spend it. Yes.
So this would be our first budget adjustment here for the police department line item.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
So what's the trailer for? What do we need a trailer for?
The trailer's for firearms related equipment.
Are we talking like straps and butt stocks or what?
No, targets, ammunition, and everything. I'll let Officer Alexander explain that and the taser since he's an instructor on that.
Okay.
And he has more, he's our expert on that.
Let the expert speak?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The purpose of the trailer would be when we currently go out to the range for firearms training is there's an abundance of equipment we have to take with us, from target stands, steel plates, which are quite heavy to move around, and then quite a bit of ammo, as well as safety equipment and stuff like that. So right now it takes us several trips with a pickup truck, and we got to store stuff in different locations. So our setup and tear down takes us about 6 hours of moving stuff around. Whereas if we had a trailer, it was all contained, we'd pull the trailer up there, unload what we needed to, and get to work.
Where are you going to put it? When it's not in
DRMO.
use? I'm sorry?
DRMO, our garage out at DRMO for storage.
Where's it?
And
The
the,
garage at the Township Hall, I think, is what you're
Oh.
referring to?
No, the one out-
The RMO?
Out on the base.
Oh, out at the,
Where the leaf and brush site is.
yeah.
I didn't know where it was.
One of the pole barns out there.
I see, okay.
And we did seek 3 quotes. I asked for comparable quotes. I did not exactly get comparable quotes from everybody. I asked for a quote for a polycore exterior on all of them. I only got 1 quote back with a polycore exterior, which is what my recommendation is. That's a better product than a traditional aluminum skin trailer. Adds a little bit of insulation value. Like we're going to be shooting here this week. It's going to be cold. Having a location while we're out there that we could have a Mr. Buddy heater in a trailer to warm guys up a little bit would be nice to have. The 1 quote didn't have the size that I wanted. They didn't want to order a trailer for me. They only spec'd out what they had on the lot. I had a company that just refused to give me a quote because we were a police department.
Wow, okay.
Hey,
So that would be the reason for the recommendation. It's not the lowest quote that's on there, but the lowest quote on there did not actually meet the specs that I had requested.
Right.
So this $10,000 expenditure is actually going to save you guys lots of labor over the course of years. It will pay for itself within 3 years.
It will save my back within 3 years, yes.
Sure.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about if it takes you 6 to 8 hours to set up and tear down. And
Of total time into it, yeah, I would say we got about 6
If
hours.
you cut that to 1 hour, then how many officers does it take to set everything up?
Myself and Officer Hart are the
So
2
2
firearms
officers.
instructors, so we set everything up before everybody gets there, so that when the guys get there to start training, they can start training right away.
So this would actually take fewer hours if you have the trailer to run out there, pull all the stuff out of it instead of making the trips.
And in this, like in an instance when we hire a new officer, the first thing we have to do is take them out to make sure that they can pass our firearms qualification course. So we're doing all that setup right now for 1 person, so we do about probably 3 hours of actual range time, and then the rest of that is, our whole day is dedicated to just setting up and tearing down.
Got it.
Okay. Where's all the equipment that's in that you're going to put in that trailer currently being stored? You said you had to go to different places to get it?
Some of it's in the upstairs area above the police department, some of it's in a hallway closet in the police department, some of it's at DRMO. At times we've stored some stuff at DPW.
So that would take all of those things from all of those areas and leave it in the trailer. Is there anything that you're planning on putting in there that, is the place you're going to store it climate controlled?
It's not, but nothing that would be in there would be we're not going to keep any firearms or anything like that in there. It's all going to be just.
Well, the chief referenced ammunition, and I don't know if the ammunition can get hot and cold like that.
It won't affect it. Not for our training ammunition.
Good, all right.
Can you talk a little bit about the tasers?
Yep, so, the Taser 10 is the newest, latest, and greatest from Taser. We're currently running the Taser X26P is the model that we're on. Taser's no longer supporting that model at all. We're down to, I think, 5 in service right now. I think we've had 2 go down over the last year and can't get them repaired anymore. So we were due for a replacement. The Taser 7 was the next generation after the 26Ps that we're currently on. And then this last year they released the Taser 10. It's kind of in a good time for us to look at it because we do have money budgeted for CIP next year for tasers. It's not the amount the quote came back at, but the Taser 10 gives us a big advantage over what we currently have. Currently, we get 1 cartridge that fires 2 probes, and once you've done that, unless you carry a spare cartridge, which most guys do not, that tool is no longer effective for you anymore. The Taser 10 comes with, the cartridge holds 10 probes, so you get 10 opportunities to, make a good connection with that taser to get the response that you're hoping to get.
I was reading your documentation in the packet. It also said that there was that when you energize the device, it has a warning on it where it makes an audible noise and
Yep.
it flashes a bright light so people know you're about to get tased.
Yeah, currently the X26 that we use has the ability to do a warning arc, but you must take the cartridge off in order to do the warning arc and then reinstall it if you decide you need to use it. So it's not really something that gets utilized. On the new Taser 10 model, there's just a push button basically on the side of it that would that gives an audible and visual. It's got a strobe light in it, and it's basically giving you that warning of,
Last chance.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Taser offers a pretty good program on the 0% financing for 5 years. The quote that they have in there, I do know it has the tax on it. They take the tax off after we approve it. So the approval amount on that would be the pre-tax number of it's 10,900 and change per year on the quote on that. The state police is switching to the Taser 10. They did an extensive study between the Taser 7 and Taser 10 and decided that it was a better weapon. And I reviewed their study and agree with it wholeheartedly. So
What's the price difference between the 7s and the 10s? Is it
the
significant?
quote that I got for the 7s earlier this year when I was just getting budget preparation stuff done and stuff like that was within about $2,000 of where this one ended up at.
But it's also an older model, closer to legacy.
I think the Taser 7's been out for 5 years now,
How long
so
have the ones you're using now been out?
about 10 years.
So the 7s maybe have 5 years of usability before they dump.
Taser seems to be doing about a 10-year life cycle on their products where they are, no longer servicing after about 10 years of its production date, so.
Okay.
So we're planning on ARPA money for this as well?
No, so well, unless you want to give me more ARPA money, I'll take it, but,
Well, my thought was that I understand we can get an interest-free loan to pay these over 5 years, right?
correct.
From what I was reading. But if we wanted to use the ARPA money, we would have to pay it now.
So the reason I'm bringing this to you.
The ARPA money we wouldn't be able to use.
Right. The reason I'm bringing it to you today is after January 1st, if we did the payment plan, the first payment's not due until May of '24, which we have money budgeted in '24's budget under the CIP to make that payment. But if we wait until January 2nd to say yes to them, there's a 10% price increase going up the first of the year.
I see.
So,
So is the $300,000 that not to exceed, is that including the tasers and the trailer? Or is that only for the vehicles?
that is for the vehicle program.
Okay, so we're looking at a little more, okay.
Yep.
And I guess we could do the first, in 2024 and 2025, we could use ARPA funds for those payments. Right?
Yes.
Then after that, it would have to be
A budgeted item,
budgeted item.
just under $11,000 a year.
So that would be in our capital improvement plan?
Correct.
Moving forward? Okay.
And the products on those, it's not, the original program from Axon, which is who owns Taser now, I guess they renamed themselves a couple of years ago, but is a leasing program, and this is not a leasing program. This is just a 0% to purchase. So they are ours at the end of the 5 years, and that number does include all of our training cartridges, everything that we'll need to keep the department current and certified for the next 5 years.
Okay. That includes the suit you were talking about that?
Yep, it doesn't, they're throwing that in for us at no charge, actually, on the suit.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
I just want to say I had a list of questions, and I met with Chief Bolin earlier today, and he was very gracious to put up with me for a while. And I appreciated his input.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I know we have to be diligent with taxpayer money, even though ARPA funds technically aren't township taxpayer money, but they are taxpayer money from the federal government.
Right.
But in terms of taxpayer money from the township and things that we pay, I know all of us on this board here are taxpayers in Oscoda Township.
Yep.
And I feel like I pay a fairly substantial amount for the house that I have, but, which I have an acre that's on the lake, 250 feet of frontage, so I pay a little higher tax rate, but I knew that when we bought the property. But one of the things that impressed me about Oscoda is that we have a 24/7 police department here. Mm-hmm. And my feeling is I would like to see my tax money being spent to make sure that our police department is equipped. When you ask people to do a job, you have to provide them with the best equipment that's available for them to do that job. Yeah. If you, and pardon the analogy, but if you handcuff them with having inferior equipment, it restricts the police department from being able to do the job that you expect them to do. So when I was reviewing all these requests, I thought, well, these are things that our police department needs to have to be the best that they can be. And that's what, as a taxpayer, that's what I want to see. And the taxpayers spoke several years ago when they approved the police millage, along with the fire millage. They want a good fire and police department. So when I saw these items, I thought, we need these things to give the police department the tools they need to do the best job they can. And I think, you know, from everything I've observed over the years, we have a very good police department that does an excellent job. And so I would like to see us approve these items. Since we have the ARPA money available, I would prefer to use that ARPA money for one-time purchases as opposed to, say, for instance, giving everybody big raises that would, once you do that, then you have to find the money to do that again. With this program, the chief is with the cars, a limit up to 300,000. It's a one-time deal. And then it extends the life of the vehicles. Typically, I believe, over the years, we have, 1 year we'll replace one car, the next year we'll replace 2 cars. And it goes like that in sequence every year, I believe. And so this reduces it to where we're just replacing 1 car a year, possibly. I think these are all good proposals, and I'd like to hear what the other members of the board have to say about this, if anything.
Well, I talked to the chief earlier also, and it was explained pretty well to me. I had questions about, you know, all my questions were answered. The thing that I would like to point out too is that I was I do know a little bit about when we get cars, we're constantly retrofitting the equipment into these cars, and how many times can you retrofit something into it? You know, every time I unplug a computer, it seems I break it, but I mean, it's like, this is some highly sensitive equipment that are in these cars, and if we're constantly retrofitting from one vehicle to another, it's got to take wear and tear on that equipment. I like the idea of the new equipment going into these cars. I think if I'm not mistaken, the equipment on these cars to fit them out is almost cost of what the actual vehicle costs. So, I mean, that's quite a expensive thing. The other thing that I wanted to, had questions about was the officers taking the cars home, and there's going to be more mileage, well, you know, those type of things. But that was explained to me very well. The thing that I didn't realize was that when an officer is at home and he gets called presently into an emergency scene, he has to come into the department, get his equipment, and then respond. And if he goes directly to it, all of his equipment is right where he's at. I mean, that's going to really cut down on that response time. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had times in my life where I needed a quick response. and if it happens to you personally, you really appreciate that quick response. So I'm definitely in favor of this. I am also very glad that there are ARPA funds that are available, and I think this is the purpose why the federal government has brought this kind of money to us, is to use it for these public safety things and infrastructure and things of that nature. And this fits right into that. Public safety, I think, is number one in our community, and this is definitely falls within those guidelines. The trailer also, having everything in one place. In my feeling is that it's easier to track and inventory and know what you got, and you don't have to go searching for something. Oh, geez, I forgot this. What's over there? And time consuming. I think the trailer makes perfect sense. The new tasers, you know, that's a vital piece of police equipment that. You have to depend on these things, and anything that's getting that old of what they presently are, I would be worst thing in the world would happen for an officer that you have to use one of these things and it doesn't go off, or it goes off and doesn't do what it's supposed to do. That would be, now you really made somebody very angry
And I wouldn't want to be in that situation either. So I think these are all programs. The 5-year payment plan on the TASER, I think, personally, I thought that maybe using the ARPA funds for that also on an outright would be good. But I know there are other things that need to be worked on and ARPA funds should be used on. So, but I'm in favor of all three of these things. Just, I think it's excellent that our chief coming in and our officers have got all of this preliminary stuff ready to use that and presenting it at this time. So, that's all I got to say.
Okay, any other, you had all your questions
Yep,
answered?
yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else?
Yep, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Well, you want to go individually for
Individual.
the different things?
Well, I will make a motion, I will move to approve the police department request to purchase 4 new vehicles with new equipment for each to be paid with available ARPA funds not to exceed $300,000.
Support.
You said 4 new vehicles, but it's 4 additional vehicles, including the other 2, right?
No,
Right.
it's 4 vehicles, 2 additional vehicles over
No,
2 that were
4.
scheduled.
That's all it says, though.
It's 2 plus the 4.
It's worded.
Yeah,
They
it's
had 2
6
in
total.
this year, they need 4.
So they're gonna say they're gonna purchase 4 additional vehicles in addition to the 2 vehicles approved
Yes.
for 2024.
That's 6.
So we're gonna get
6.
6 of them.
Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, 4 additional vehicles over the 2 that are in the
I
CIP.
just wanna make sure the motion wasn't gonna
Correct.
cause a problem in the future.
That's right.
Yeah, with a...
I'll
with
still
a-
support that.
The limit not to exceed $300,000, okay.
Awesome.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Ms. McGuire. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed.
I'll make a motion to approve the assigned vehicle program policy.
And I'll support that.
I have a motion by Ms. McGuire, support by Mr. Taser on the policy.
Oh, does that need to go to the policy committee first?
Pardon me?
Does this need to go to the policy committee first?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
it
those
has
other
to.
ones,
If everybody's read it
They-
and approved of it. I
Okay.
read
If you
through it.
want it to go to them first, then
No, I don't think there's any
well,
point.
because
I
our
don't think it has to.
policy, our policy on policies. I know, it's a lot.
yeah.
That's why we took some of those other things off the agenda. That's it. I'm just bringing that up, just saying.
Are you amending your motion to send it to the policy committee instead of
I
approving
am.
it outright?
Yes,
Okay,
because that's what it says we're supposed to do
so your motion is to send this policy to the policy committee.
first, because that's what the policy on policy making says.
Okay?
It has to be reviewed by the policy committee.
Would it be different with the police department's policies? Those don't usually go to the board?
I don't think so. There's a policy for the township, but
They have completely separate policies. I'm just adding that
Yeah.
in there, but
So basically, we're gonna send it to the policy committee, they're gonna review it and then make a recommendation back to us.
Right.
And we'll have it at the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
Right.
Is that gonna impact your timeline too much, officers?
That's fine.
Chief.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll still support that.
Okay, yeah, I think we should be consistent.
okay. We have a motion by Ms. McGuire, support by Mr. Taser, to send the policy to the policy committee. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes,
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the purchase of 13 tasers.
I'll make a motion that we use ARPA funds for the 2024 and 2025 payment, and then do capital improvement payments for the other remaining 3 payments.
The remaining 5 years.
Yes.
You like the payment plan better?
Support?
Pardon?
You like the payment plan better?
I think that it just fit into their capital improvement plan for the remaining 3 payments, and that will free up the rest of the ARPA money for some other projects that they might come up with.
Okay. I'm not opposed to it because there's no interest, but if there was interest on it, I
Oh, yeah, if there was interest, that'd be
It'd be a different story. Was there support for that?
Yeah.
Motion by Ms. McGuire, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the utility trailer.
Where's the money coming from for the $10,000 trailer? Is that ARPA funds too?
ARPA money.
Okay. Oh, I guess I would make a motion to approve the purchase of an enclosed trailer from Robson Trailer in the amount of $9,900 to be paid for from ARPA funds.
Support, Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Good luck, Chief.
Thank you.
Get those things ordered and get them in here, okay?
Jeremy, is your microphone working? Oh, okay.
Do I need to pull it closer?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you very well.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I get yelled at because it's too close, and then I get yelled at because I'm sorry.
Because you're loud.
Usually we don't have a problem hearing you. Next is the row engineering invoices.
Oh, boy.
Oh, joy.
Right. Your packet contains the following listed invoices from Row Engineering for services rendered. These invoices require Township Board approval.
And we still have to approve each one of these individually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Invoices.
I make a motion to approve invoice number 111,091 for the Oscoda Downtown Water Main in the amount of $5,292.50 to be paid from account number 101-000-720.528.
Support, Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is invoice 111092.
I'll make a motion to approve payment of invoice number 111,092, the Oscoda Township 2024 CWSRF, in the amount of $12,147.50 to be paid from Fund 590-000-821.000.
Support. Okay, good. Go ahead and take it, Jeff. Okay, well, that's fine. Go ahead and take it, Jeff.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed.
I would make a motion to approve invoice number 111,093 as needed services for $2,175 to be paid from account number 101-299-821.000.
Support.
If we only needed an auctioneer here, you know.
Yeah, I cannot do the auction.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. McGuire. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed.
I would make a motion to approve invoice number 111,097, Water System Improvements 2022, in the amount of $4,417.50 to be paid from the C2R2 funds after reimbursement is requested and made available.
Support. Okay. Taser.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Taser. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed.
I would make an additional motion to approve invoice number 111,098, Water System Improvements 2023, in the amount of $3,230, even to be paid from C2R2 after reimbursement is made available to the township.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed.
I would make a motion to approve invoice number 111,100, Oscoda Downtown Water Main, in the amount of $12,218.75 to be paid from account 101-000-720.528.
Support, Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed.
I would make a motion to approve invoice number 111,103, Oscoda Township 2024 DWSRF, in the amount of $9,405 even, to be paid from account 591-000-821.000.
Support. Palmer. Motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Palmer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes. Motion passed.
I would make an additional motion to approve invoice number 111,135 for the Iosco Exploration Trail on the amount of $6,360 even from account number 101-751-880.572.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes. Motion passed.
And the final motion for this section is I move to approve appropriations to Fund 101-751-880.572 in the amount of $6,360 even.
Support Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes. Motion passed. Well, that was well done, Mr. Spencer.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to burn through those.
Yeah.
They come up every meeting.
Next is the water system parts purchase request.
All right, your packet contains a memo from the Township's Water System Manager, Catherine Nguyen, for water system parts. As stated in the memo, the Township is in need of replenishment of parts due to the recent amount of service installations and repairs. There are 3 quotes listed for your review, and Ms. Nguyen is recommending purchasing parts from Core and Main in the amount of $15,505.18.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
No.
I think these are all parts that we need to have.
Yep.
So I guess I don't know. If we have a stockpile of parts and a part is taken out of that stockpile and and installed at a facility, residential or commercial, there's not some kind of situation in place that automatically replenishes that part for us. We have to go. We're going to deplete our stock to a point that we have to have a board action to purchase more.
No, I know that they do an inventory often, and I think they just keep track that way, and they have hit, I believe, a spot where they are low. I think that's their system. I haven't seen it personally, but I do know they do an inventory, and when it hits a certain number, they reorder.
So we're at a red line on some of those items, and that's why it's being brought to the board instead of...
Correct.
Is it because we have to spend so much money on it, or?
Yes. Yeah, that has to come through the board for repurchase.
And these parts aren't being charged to, let's say, a customer or something where we're being paid elsewhere, maybe directly into the water fund, just saying, for example, right? So we're not kind of...
Right, well, some parts like meter horns, things like that, we do charge for because those are expensive.
Right.
But for the basic parts, no, we do not.
I got it. Thank you.
Well, I mean, if we don't want to run out, so I would make a motion to approve the purchase of water system parts from Core and Main in the amount of $15,505.18 to be paid from account number 591-000-930.000.
Support Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. That brings us to our resolution portion. Yep. First up is Resolution 2023-30, which is the budget adoption.
Does anybody have any questions about this, or this is just a part of the budget adoption process? We have to have a resolution along with the board vote, which we already did.
I would make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-30, budget adoption as presented.
Support Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Sutton, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is Resolution 2023-31 regarding fiscal year 2023 budget amendments.
So this is the one opportunity that the board takes to adjust any wage lines, anything that I can't normally adjust throughout the year. Wages, Social Security, anything like that needs board approval. So I went through the budget, corrected any lines that needed correction, took money from places I can't normally take money from, moved it around, and your end result is our appropriations of $9,532.67.
And this is something we do every year.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
new, and oftentimes it's a lot more than $9,000.
Yes, Tara and I went through everything, and we have to estimate for 2.5 pay, it would be 2.5 pay periods for the remainder of the year. I know we had some items in the police budget. There were some other items here, they're just kind of all over the place. So, and this is the opportunity I can take, which is done every year, to fix those and amend them for the end of the year.
Okay. Like I said, we do this every year. It's nothing new.
Right. What was the number that you mentioned?
It's at the very bottom of the batch ed budget amendments where the change is. I believe it's on page 248 in your packet.
Thank you. Just overshooting it. Thank you. Yeah, because the one on page 244 was a different $9,000 number than the one you mentioned. That's why I was asking. That one added to 953267. Is that a different number than the one you mentioned?
No.
Okay, sorry, then I apologize.
Any other questions, comments about this?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-31 as it relates to the budget amendments number 1 for the fiscal year 2023 budget.
Support, Spencer.
A motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Mr. Spencer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is Resolution 2023-32, our poverty exemption.
So this resolution comes from the assessor. This is something new, and it needs to be done every year. We did it last year. I say new, just started in the last couple of years. And it just is the process, a resolution approving the process for poverty exemption.
I'd make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-32 as written.
Support Cummings.
We have a motion by Mr. Spencer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the Township Board meeting schedule for next year.
There's only one meeting in May, December, and...
Yeah, because that's
The other one's falling out.
Labor Day. Or Memorial Day, I'm sorry.
Oh, That's right, okay.
Yep.
All right, all right.
Anybody have any comments on that, or? I think it's
But
pretty
I guess my
straightforward.
question, I do have a question, is why is the one meeting in November the one of Thanksgiving?
Just look at that, like, whoa, that's awful close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's usually the one that we would have trouble with.
So,
Oh, because Thanksgiving is the 21st next year. Or
Yeah,
no, it's
but
28th.
but there's no first meeting, is my point. Why is-
the November 11th is Veterans Day, and that's a holiday. So the thought was, when we went through the meeting dates, if the board wanted to change the date, we could do that, make it on a Tuesday. That's going to be up to you. Or you can leave the one date, and if we need a meeting, we could schedule a special meeting if needed.
So I know that we normally skip the second meeting, not the first, so I'm wondering what kind of a problem does that create for Treasury? Because I know that you usually need to get pre-approvals, like for example, for the meeting we don't have this, the end of this month.
Oh, right.
So how would this affect you with just having the one meeting, but it's actually the end of the month?
We could do it the month before. The
Okay,
end-
so
Yeah,
the end of October. Okay.
Yep, and do the prepays, yep, then.
All right,
Similar to what we'll do tonight for the rest of December.
exactly, we were just doing it on a different cadence is all I was mentioning.
The only thing, Tammy, is we might want to put a note in the calendar about the winter
Yep.
newsletter too. That'll have to be approved at the end of October.
Right,
Okay.
everything's got to
Yeah.
move up.
Good thinking.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Might have to look at a few other things like that.
Yep.
Would be during that time frame for sure,
Okay.
because it's tax time.
Yay, tax time.
Yes, tax time.
Did you see all the citizens dance when I said that?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
So is there a motion to approve the schedule for 2024?
I'll make a motion, we approve the board meeting schedule for 2024.
Support?
Motion by Ms. McGuire, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes,
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. And as I mentioned, we need to make a motion to approve bill payment authorization for the remainder of December. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I will move to approve the payment of bills for December to be reviewed at the first meeting in January 2024.
support Cummings.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Mr. Cummings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes,
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the Wilbur Fire Service renewal.
All right, so this is our annual information that goes out to Wilbur Township. I do apologize, we were missing the breakdown of the Wilbur fire costs, which I provided everyone, just in case you missed that part. I forgot to have Tara put it in the board packet, but I will have her upload that tomorrow. So, there isn't a whole lot of difference. Their cost this year will be $11,715.
it's interesting how it's even, no pennies.
No pennies, no. We avoid that.
Okay,
So I would make a motion to approve renewing the fire service contract with Wilbur Township pending Wilbur Township approval.
Support?
Motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
yes,
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the appointment to the Senior Center Building Authority Board. we have someone who is interested in taking a spot on that, Patricia Otremba. I don't think she's here, but I do have her application, and would like to get her approved for that board because they have their first meeting, or so that we had Ms. Taser, who has been on that board for a few years and has resigned, but has agreed to stay on until we got a replacement. Thank you for that. So Ms. Otremba will take her spot. That still leaves one spot, I believe, for us to fill on that board. So we need to reach out and if we can get some other people involved in that. But I would like to make a motion to approve the appointment of Patricia Otremba to the Oscoda Sabo Senior Center Building Authority Board.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Ms. McGuire. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes. Motion passed. Next was one of the additions was the appointment to the LDFA board. Kathy Morgan Jones had expressed interest in that board some time ago. We requested that she fill out an application. We hadn't received that, so that's the reason we haven't made that appointment, but thanks to Ms. McGuire, she went to see her today and got the application filled out and brought it, so everyone should have a copy of that. So we can approve her to the LDFA board.
I'll make a motion that we approve Kathy Morgan Jones to be appointed to the LDFA board. She basically is taking Josh's spot.
Support?
Yep.
That's funny.
Only if she brings her janitorial services.
So we had a motion by Ms. McGuire, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. Next is the reappointment of Christine Rogel on the same LDFA board. Her term expires at the end of December. I brought everybody a copy of the email she sent to the airport director requesting that she would like to have her term extended through 2025. So I would like to approve her reappointment to that board. So I will make a motion to reappoint Christine Rogel to the LDFA board with a term ending December 31st of 2025.
Support?
Motion by Mr. Palmer, support by Mr. Sutton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Taser?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes. Mr. Palmer?
Yes, motion passed. We have our appointments to the LDFA. Next is public comment. Speak on any matter. Yes, please state your name when you come to the podium.
Good evening, I am Mary Ed Sutton. I live in Oscoda, and I've been causing trouble since 1953. If you have read the article in the paper on my dismissal from the EIC, I agree with it as written. Here's a bit more information to address the comments made by the board and by the superintendent at the last board meeting. I asked for a no confidence vote on our chair, Dave Eiler. It is not true that I went around trying to create a coup. I informed the co-chair what I was asking for. In fact, I asked her to request the special meeting on my behalf as covered in our bylaws in Article 4, Meetings under Scheduling. I never heard back from her on this. I then asked for the special meeting and was refused, not for the first time. End of story. Or was it? Tammy acknowledged that she put the item on the agenda for the EIC member dismissal and that she did not name me because she did not want to appear to be smearing me. All she did was violate my right under the Open Meetings Act to speak before the board voted. Tammy also said that this was an ongoing problem and that she and Bill Palmer and Jamie McGuire had all been involved in trying to handle it. This is not correct. Bill and Jamie and I spoke after I was appointed to the EIC in May of 2022 regarding Facebook posts. Jamie said that I wasn't going to change, but in fact I did quit posting on Facebook after that. When Bob Tadger was appointed to the Board of Trustees in April 2023, I protested by raising my hand over my head and giving a thumbs down signal and made some loud remarks. In the next few days, Bill asked for my resignation. I refused, as I did not sacrifice my First Amendment rights to become a member of the Economic Improvement Committee. But I told him that I would resign if he felt that my behavior was unbecoming in the future. He never called in this marker. He never spoke to me at all on this matter. Let me be clear, not posting my name denied me the opportunity to say anything in my defense. I thought I would be given an opportunity to speak, but I was not. I asked for a vote of no confidence on our chair, Dave Eiler. 5 canceled meetings in 1 year after promising not to cancel anymore when he was reelected to the chair in July. This would not remove Dave from the committee, but simply remove him as chair. Dave would have still been on the committee. What is a no confidence vote? It's a vote by a body, in our case the committee, as to whether an office holder is deemed fit to continue to occupy that office. Was Dave fit to be the chair? As the committee had voted in the office holders, the committee should be able to vote them out. Still on the committee, just not holding that post. The EIC had elected officers in July, and the fact that we had elected officers was reported to the Township Board, but they did not have to vote to approve them. It was simply an informational report. The committee should have the power to remove an officer for non-performance, although it would be the Township Board that would have to remove that person from the committee. 6 months later, meaning now, I want to make a public statement of dissatisfaction with the shenanigans of canceling so many EIC meetings, and I'm voted off with a fabricated story and personal slander. Really? Oscoda deserves better, and frankly, I deserve better. November is coming. Chapter 2 next time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Pam Lovelace from Oscoda. I just wanted to address the board because I watched the meeting from home last meeting, and I was really disappointed, angry, and frustrated. I wasn't aware of any issue going on between the board and Mary Ed at that time. I watched the meeting, and I was really astounded by the fact that she wasn't given an opportunity to address the board and give her accounting to Oscoda citizens, since this was such a public event. Also, I took personal offense in Bill describing Mary Ed and/or her conduct as a cancer. I thought that was the most careless use of words that I have ever heard a public official use, especially knowing that that person had been through cancer that year. I have also been through that, and I take offense to it because you have no idea what that does to somebody. I have fought it for a year, and to have that put in that kind of context was unexcusable, even if that was not your intent. Words have meaning. Secondarily, my relationship with Mary Ed is one of a personal nature, now going into a business nature. She has not been compensated by me or my company. My point is, no one's affiliation, friendships, business partners should ever enter into whether they can perform a job. Mary Ed was one of the 10 women who helped me when I was homeless in January, a month out of surgery. And this is how good Oscoda is. A young couple took my husband and I in for 9 months, and we lived with them while I fought cancer. And I went from Saginaw to West Branch to Tawas 3 times a week through the winter, 36 rounds of chemo, 30 rounds of radiation. And they cut me from shoulder blade to shoulder blade, lifted up my skin and tissue, and removed my breasts. That was my choice to save my life. So I don't take this very lightly. But I say this to say to you that there are great people here, and they deserve better. You're our leaders. You're supposed to represent us. All we ask is that you do better. You think before you speak. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
Go with this one. Kelly Brown, Oscoda. A couple of quick points. I wanted to thank the police department and his board for approving the upgrade of the in-vehicle systems, the tasers, and also I started doing some research myself about the whole take-home vehicle. It's an excellent program. It's an excellent choice. It results in a lot of on-time calls and assistance where otherwise it would probably take too long and someone might lose their life. So, very smart move. If there's other assets and equipment that we could buy, I would say that we explore that before the appropriation for the ARPA 2022 or 2024 fund is expired. I do have to say that the situation last meeting with Mary Ed was appalling. It just was appalling. You guys had a rogue contractor that took advantage of you financially, and you paid him to leave this township, and you gave him more grace than you gave a citizen. It is shameful. It is shameful the way she was treated. I don't care what the excuse is about names or whatever. You could have went into a closed session. You've had 20 special meetings this year. That was appalling. And then to use the whole cancer thing, I don't even need to comment on it. She already took care of it. But what I do want to do is remind you what your mission statement is from your board protocol that you all adopted in November of 2020. Mr. Spencer brought up last meeting that it is your board protocol. You've adopted it. Follow it. The Charter Township of Oscoda is the government entity responsible for creating the environment to improve the quality of life for its residents and opportunities for its businesses to thrive. It creates and maintains the organizational and physical infrastructure of the community to engage residents and helps its businesses continually adjust to the ever-changing economic climate. The township is a steward of public trust, administrative, responsive, and efficient government, and a champion of transparency that works to serve and protect its citizens. So let's go into the public trust and the transparency. You guys decided to do an ethics investigation, and in a matter of 20 days, from start to end, Not only did you get that ethics investigation back, but you went into your 20th special meeting, you put a public hearing together for this Wednesday. We're all gonna come, we're all gonna hear about it. Inopportune time for the public, by the way, which I think you should reconsider next time you have something of this nature and this importance. But that brings me to the toxic workplace investigation again. I FOIA'd the legal bills. Without ciphering off a few that are redacted that I don't know what they're attributed to, there's almost $20,000 spent on a toxic workplace investigation. And we received a 36-second statement by the supervisor at a township meeting, end of story. Now, I know for a fact, I can show you right here on these lovely invoices, even though they're redacted, there is, on just these 2 invoices for May, $2,375 for draft investigation report. He was working on it diligently. May 22nd, May 23rd, and then continuation on May 31st. It's all in there. It needs to be attorney-client privilege removed and released to the public. These are taxpayer dollars, and you have an obligation to the citizens. We need public trust back, and you must restore it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Heather Tate and I live in Oscoda. And I'm just here to acknowledge the receipt of the emails that I sent and the invoice that I sent this past week regarding the water service interruption that occurred on November 30th in downtown Oscoda. A handful of addresses lost water and resulted in a boil water advisory. So I know how easy it can be to let things slip through the cracks sometimes, so I trust that due diligence will be given and attention spent on this. That's it. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, we'll move on to board comment. Mr. Cummings?
No, I have nothing. Thank you very much.
Mr. Spencer?
Not today, thank you.
Mr. Taser?
Well, since this is the last meeting before the holidays, I just wanted to wish everybody a joyous holiday season. Hope everybody finds some time to spend with their families and enjoy the holidays. I also would like to say that I was very excited to hear about the Hall Island project being turned into a nature preserve. How wonderful that is for our community within walking distance of our downtown. This is going to be a great thing. And the $150,000 for Ratliff Park upgrades, that's another thing it's just wonderful to happen for our community. I'm glad to see these type of things come into fruition. A lot of people put a lot of time into these projects, and very beneficial for our community. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Ms. McGuire?
I just want to give a reminder out to everybody, if you wanted to pay your tax bill before Christmas, we will be closed December 22nd and 25th for recognition of the holiday, and also the 29th and the 1st of January. We will be open the 26th, 27th, and 28th to take tax payments, just so you know, and we'll be in our office. Also, continuing education for myself and Jane. It's an upcoming year where we have to renew certifications for both of us. So the treasurer's office will be closed on the 18th and 19th of January, so we can participate in the winter workshop given by the Municipal Treasurers Association.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sutton?
I would just like to, something I almost forgot about, congratulate Tammy on completing her course as certified city manager. I know she does have her graduation coming up. That's a first-time course from an accredited college they put together for city managers. So I just want to say congratulations on that, especially coming into the holidays. And just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody takes time to enjoy the holidays. Maybe we'll get a little bit of snow and not just cold weather. One can hope. I don't want like feet, enough to make it look white for the 25th, and then it can go. But I just hope everybody has a safe and happy Christmas, and we'll see everybody again in the new year.
Hey, Josh, I just have a quick question. It was about, since the topic of training came up, do we have another email? Last year you did us a favor, and you sent out emails regarding the number of hours currently that you were aware of having to do with the RRC training we have to do everyone on the board. Do you have that email coming?
Yeah.
Okay, you got that. Okay, just wanted to know if you'd resend that. Or rather, send it this year. Thank you.
To me specifically.
That's right.
You're lucky Jamie reminded you.
No. Actually, all the topic of training actually reminded me.
I've been thinking about it for a while.
Did you have anything else?
No, that was it.
First of all, I'd like to apologize for my wording, cancer, when I mentioned that. What I was referring to is that it was causing disruption in the EIC, and we had several members that were threatening to leave, which would, in fact, kill that committee. But I do apologize for using that terminology. I could have used some other word, I'm sure. So I'm sorry for that. I did not mean to relate to medical problems that people are having, so I am sorry for that. I would like to thank Ms. Klein and Mr. Freeman for working on the Sparks grant for Ratliff Park, which we were just notified last week. We were awarded for $150,000. And I think Rick mentioned that they're starting the day that we're supposed to be out pouring concrete. I went out there, they hadn't done it yet, but starting the handicap fishing pier and the handicap kayak launch. That's a project that I've been pushing for a long time. I was able to get, Rural Engineering volunteered their services for the engineering of it free, and Vila has offered to contribute $4,000 towards that project. That's been ongoing for several years, and I keep getting contacted by the president of Vila saying, are you really going to do that project? Or we're still holding on to the $4,000 for you. So I said, yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm excited to have that started this fall and completed hopefully in the spring. And again, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And please be safe out there. And that's pretty much it. So thank you, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
All right.
That was your auctioneer skills.
I was trying to.
You were doing good, but